can I comment on her? Because she just
please.
So Megyn Kelly just did a video on me a few days ago.
On YouTube?
She was constantly. Well, you can just bring it up. Yeah, and I mean, she used to be my celebrity crush, but after this, she's not.
I feel like Megyn Kelly really.
That's Brett Cooper.
That's Brett Cooper.
You have to type in my name. It just says Megyn Kelly Bachelorette Star.
Oh, okay.
You'll have to type into YouTube.
Megyn Kelly's really anti-trans, I've noticed. Hasn't she? I mean, that's what I've just seen from the clips and stuff.
And we please.
She seems anti-trans.
Yeah.
Is this the video?
Yeah, that's it.
This one's it?
Yeah.
Please talk about the Bachelor contestant who now says he's a woman, which we all know on this show is not possible, sir. He is claiming that he's a woman, but some believe it's all a big troll. Okay, he has full body tattoos, which he shows off.
So what?
He has short hair, like man hair. He has facial hair. Look at this. Look at this guy. It's unbelievable what they can call a woman these days. Josh Seiter, 37, former Bachelorette star. He was on season 11 of the TV show in 2015 from Chicago. And as of this past May, claims he's a transgender woman. If you just substitute fake for trans, you can follow. He's a trans woman, which means he's fake. And he now has revealed he's not on hormone medication and is unsure if he will get surgery, but we're supposed to be treating him like he's a woman. Here's a little bit of...
So she goes on, of course, I'm not going to play the full 8-minute video, but you have critique of Megyn Kelly?
Well, I just, again, the scientific literature, whether it's NIH, WPATH, WHO, makes it very clear that to be trans, you don't need to be on hormones, you don't need to transition, you don't need to have gender dysphoria, and only the person can choose how they want to identify or transition if they want to transition, but they don't have to. And all of the people, whether they choose those things or not, are valid. So I would just point Megyn Kelly to the science. And also, she used to be my celebrity crush when I was younger, but watching her bash me and say those things, that's no longer the case.
Have you reached out to Dylan Mulvaney at all?
I haven't. I'm not a fan of Dylan. I think that Dylan, she said she inserts and uses tampons, and I just think she was making a mockery of the trans movement, but she's celebrated. So I'm not a fan of hers.
Why do you think Dylan is celebrated so much, though? Because Dylan's had a meteoric rise where I actually trolled Dylan when Dylan had like 30,000 followers, but just shortly thereafter just blew up. Are you on that?
30,000, you said?
Like, yeah, when she was like, or he, whatever,
I want to clarify this too for Dylan Mulvaney. I do not believe Dylan Mulvaney is trans. I think Dylan Mulvaney is doing a bit that is intended to insult trans people. I am not being cute. We're not trying to troll. If you look at Dylan Mulvaney's very early on content.
The Price is Right, or did you see that one?
The Price is Right is totally different. Dylan Mulvaney in The Price is Right was just...
He just seemed like a gay guy.
Well, I mean, The Price is Right shows some kind of narcissistic behavioral disorders where he's swimming, he's paddling on the ground, he's doing, and they're looking at him like, what is he doing? He's desperate for that spotlight. But Dylan Mulvaney's original Days of Girlhood videos, there's one where it's like, I'm a girl now, so I'm going to be completely irresponsible, spend money I don't have, insult people, be mean to everybody. And it's like, that was just like a comedy bit from someone who's insulting women. And then the most famous one is the hiking heels, where Dylan Mulvaney's like, I'm a woman now, so I'm going hiking wearing heels. Look at the bugs. Woo! And I'm like...
That's a good impression.
But that whole thing, if Steven Crowder went outside and said, I'm trans, I'm wearing hiking heels, everybody would be like, haha, it's a bit, because we know Steven Crowder is he does comedy and he's mocking the ideology.
Because she's left and he's right. That's why she's celebrated, and that's why no one says anything. So that's why Steven Crowder can't do it, because his beliefs are right, and because she's woke and her views are on the left, she will be accepted. And the reason I'm being doubted is because I don't fall in line or tote the official far left narrative, and so they're trying to invalidate me. So I think it doesn't depend on your transition or how you look so much as what your ideological beliefs are.
Yep.
And so long as they're far left and they fall in line with their official narrative, they are going to celebrate you and lift you up. And if you dare to have different ideological beliefs, they are going to try to erase you and cancel you and invalidate you. And so they're not as tolerant as they appear.
You ever hear of Nuka Zeus?
It's Nuka Zeus.
Someone said I should look up Nuka Zeus, a guy who took melanin to change himself from white to black. Is that for real?
Well, in the black community,
yeah.
There's a lot of hate between dark black people and light-skinned black people. I didn't realize that until recently.
Yeah, like Drake catches a lot of stuff for being light-skinned.
Mm-hmm.
What is this? Yeah, so here's... I don't know. Noah Sanders super chatted saying, look up Nuka Zeus.
This guy.
Because if I'm not black, I don't want to live, so I risk my life with injections. He injects himself with melanin or whatever.
Oh my gosh, this is insane.
When you found that solution, and what's it called? Melanotan?
Melanotan too.
Melanotan. Okay.
Melanotan.
How'd you find out about melanotan?
How did I find out about it? I seen pictures on the internet, floating around here and there, and I thought it was dysfunction disorder, but they found out that when people go in the sun, they just happen to get, a lot darker, a lot faster. And I started, at first, it didn't do anything different with my libido. Is that the right word?
Yeah.
Libido?
That guy looks insane.
Man,
And how does he not know you can only change your gender? You can't change your race.
Why can't you change your race?
Yeah, why not?
I don't know why he... Well, I just, again, would defer to the
Science.
literature, and the science makes it clear you can only change your gender.
Well, so I have a question, though. Like, the thing about the gender stuff and the race stuff, someone could actually be, 1/8 black, and people don't know because they can't tell. Who's that actor? That famous actor. He plays. He was in Prison Break.
Well, Quarter Black Garrett is a quarter black, I believe.
Yeah, the main guy, right? The bald guy? Is he the one that...
No. In Prison Break, there's two characters. One of them is what was it? Wentworth. What's his name? What was it?
Miller, I think.
Is that his
The
name?
main guy. That's big.
The bald guy with the shave... Well, he has a shaved head, right? Kind of like
Wentworth
Channing
Miller.
Tatum.
Yeah. Wentworth Miller, and he also plays Captain Cold or whatever. I'm pretty sure he's like 1/8 black or something, isn't he?
Kind of looks like Channing Tatum. Maybe Channing Tatum's an 8th black. He's a really good dancer. I mean, I'm not trying to generalize or anything.
You kind of are.
Yeah, Wentworth Miller. His father is African American, Jamaican, German,
Wow.
English,
That's
and
just-
he's mixed race.
that's why you should never judge a book by its cover.
But so that's the thing, right? If he came out and said, "I want people to address me as a black man," I mean, that he'd be attacked for it. They like the left would go after him. They'd say, "How dare you?" I don't know. I mean, there's probably a lot of people who'd be like, "Okay, fine." But that's the interesting thing about like the transracial thing. If someone is 1/16, I don't know, black or whatever, can they come out and say, "I want to identify as a black person, and I want people to recognize that"?
I guess we just have to trust Webster's dictionary and then, what they define race, because they make updates and often change the definitions of things. So
That's how we know. That's how we keep track of it.
maybe they'll change it in
Webster's.
a couple of years. So I would just defer to that and the science on that, but I don't know.
Did we talk about the children? We did talk about the...
You asked. Yeah, I didn't answer. Can you ask it again?
Yeah, I mean, what do you think about, hormone therapy for children under 18 years old?
Yeah, so I think we should let kids be kids, and I think most people can agree with that. I don't think we should influence or encourage them one way or the other. I think we should just, if a boy wants to wear a pink shirt and play with dolls, let him. It doesn't matter. He's a kid. That's a double-edged sword, though. It also goes with don't influence him and try to convince him that he's something he's not. So I see a lot of people, there's an influencer that is constantly trying to encourage their kid, their biologically male child, to be female or feminine and do feminine things and wear girl clothes. Let the kid have autonomy, let the kid have agency, and let him be a kid. So I would say we should not be interfering with children. And if they want to do blockers or hormone therapy, I think like with anything, there is a big responsibility there, and they should wait until they're 18 to make any decisions that are going to have colossal impacts on their life. Their hypothalamus isn't even fully developed until they're 25. We should not be encouraging them or letting them make life-changing decisions like genital mutilation until they are at least 18.
And Josh, you are a great actor, and I know, like I say, this is obviously a bit, and that's my opinion, but your biggest problem is, and we brought up Dylan Mulvaney, because you went on The Bachelor and you were a heterosexual male trying to date a female, you're not going to have support from the LGBTQ community. And I think that's what's hurting you the most in this whole thing, is that you're not gay. I think that's what is holding you back from getting.
I don't like labels, but I like women, so technically
You are a lesbian, yeah.
But I have always, I'm part of the community and I've been part of it, but it's not just me. A lot of my followers have voiced the fact that although they are gay or bi or trans, they don't feel part of the community. And what they voiced to me is that the community has been taken over by extreme voices. They feel like it is no longer accepting. They feel like it only elevates the most extreme voices. And so they don't feel like it's an inclusive community. And I have to say that during my experience, I'm in agreement with that.
I'd like you to shoot some content at a gay bar or one of these trans rallies and see how you're accepted. I know you're at the DNC, but I'd like to see other people's reactions.
Yeah, I haven't been. I went to gay bars occasionally in Chicago and Boys Town. They're pretty cool.
What about girly bars?
Like normal, like heterosexual.
No. I think it's
lesbian bars.
Andersonville.
Andersonville is I used to dance occasionally at one bar there too.
Have you gone up there recently? Since
I was in Andersonville about a year ago, but not recently.
What is Andersonville like
it's the lesbian? Yeah. So for those that don't,
Boys Town is
like Wrigleyville, Lakeview is Boys Town, and then it's Andersonville is Ladies Town. They call it. Yeah. It's kind of weird that it's separated that way. I don't know, but I guess.
I don't know why there has to be all this separation. Sometimes I think about it and I feel like the left actually separates people a lot rather than bringing them together. There's always trying to taxonomize and categorize people and things and identities. It's odd. I thought they would bring us together, but
I agree with you on that. But I think the Boys Town and the Ladies Town thing, it's because like if you're a dude and you want to meet dudes, if you go to any random neighborhood, I mean, you're gonna be looking for what, like three people out of 100, or no, less than that. Like maybe 1 out of 100 guys is gonna be interested. You go to Boys Town, it's 9 out of 10. But if you're a woman, and it's the same thing. So the reason they create these communities is because the women are like, I don't want to waste any time. I want to know for sure that all the people here are going to be interested and available, or some degree. But then it does create a weird circumstance where you have quite literally these neighborhoods segregated, and it's weird. I mean, and it's true too for race as much as it is for orientation. Chicago is heavily racially segregated. Like, I
live there. Yeah.
Do you want to say what neighborhood you live in?
Yeah, I live in right by Roscoe Village.
Oh, okay. Like it's like north area.
Yeah, north of the city.
Are you from Chicago?
I'm from Champaign-Urbana, which is where the University of Illinois is. So I grew up
from Chicago. I grew up in
okay. I did my undergrad at the U of I. Lived 10 minutes from there in my family home where my mom still lives in Champaign-Urbana. I did my undergrad there and then came up to Chicago for law school.
I recommend people who really want to understand the left and Democrat policies and all that, spend some time in Chicago. You can go to parts of the city where when you cross the street, the language changes. Not at like where I grew up, Archer and Cicero, on one side, billboards English. You cross the street, everything's Spanish.
Cicero, Spanish.
Cicero,
Berwyn, Cicero, North Riverside,
and it's crazy because the advertisers are putting up ads. It's not malintent. It's just why are we going to put up an English ad in a neighborhood that only speaks Spanish?
Well, that's how it is in like West Dallas. All the billboards are in Spanish, But
I just mean for Chicago, I certainly understand. And if you're in Dallas, right, you've got a lot of Spanish influence, especially. But in Chicago, where I grew up, you cross from the south, from like 48th Street, you go north to 47th. It goes from all white, all black, instantly. Like you cross a street and everyone's black. I don't. Is that how it works in other cities? I mean, because
I don't know. Yeah, mostly, and in Champaign-Urbana, that's a smaller college town, campus town. But in Chicago, I'm thinking of moving. Crime there is just out of control. And it's weird because Biden said, MAGA is the biggest threat to America. But I don't think MAGA's the ones that's carjacking and committing violent armed robberies and murdering people every weekend. I've just been looking, and they don't look like MAGA Republicans to me. But yeah, it's just become a very crime-ridden city, and people are being carjacked all the time, even in the Gold Coast and places that, Tim, are once very nice, pleasant places to live have been taken over by, they're busting out shop windows of small businesses where there's hardworking people trying to have small businesses, which Kamala apparently loves, and people are, robbing them and setting them on fire. And so it's just kind of sad to see a city that I once loved devolve. And it's pretty violent there now.
Do you own a gun?
I do.
Yeah, I think you have to.
Man, I saw a video of some urban explorers, and it was like Instagram auto-fed it to me.
Where they go to abandoned places?
Yeah, and it was in
those.
Chicago, and it's like we got into an abandoned skyscraper in Chicago, and I was like, oh, wow, where's that? Like, where could that be? And it was like a prominent downtown building that I used to go to and eat during lunch at work. I was like, what the? It's only been 10 years. I left Chicago in 2010. 14 years later, the city's fallen apart to that degree.
You make a
Holy crap.
good point, but I think the conclusion to that point is it seems to be Democratic policies that are directly leading to this. And I think what we need is more two-parent homes. I think we need homes where the fathers are present. I think we need kids that are being raised by families, unlike what BLM says. Families do matter. Nuclear families matter. Having two-parent homes matters. And I think what we're seeing is a cultural decline that's happening because we don't have that, and it's leading directly to crime. And it's not rocket science, and I think most of us understand what's going on, but the far left refuses to say anything about it. And this is another reason why I'm a libertarian, because I believe in freedom to do what we want, but we can't do that if we're not safe and if we're being murdered while we're trying to live our life. And I think Democratic policies are in are directly against living a libertarian life often. And that's why I'm just not a fan of the far left, because it's hard to be free when you're being carjacked.